Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 421. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Too bad for the birds. Oh, well, Philly.
Carlos Romero. Yo. Adam Vale.
How you doing?
Oh, does it work now?
Yeah, now it does.
Oh, my bad.
Yo, but you had it facing the wrong way.
Oh,
Manny, I was about to say, you better if you have anything parked outside of the streets, watch out, man.
Oh, I mean, here's the
Yo, can I finish the intro?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
All right.
I'll answer it later.
We got Brett Murdoch in the house.
Yeah, what's up, people?
And Brian Manjoma.
What up?
All right, continue. By the way, I don't know what your guys are talking about. Are we talking about the UFOs they shot down?
Today was the Super Bowl with the
fucking idea.
Yeah, so Philly was back up in there. The Eagles, so they lost
3 points, man. 3 points.
You guys might be hearing fireworks in my background.
I hear it on mine. I have fireworks over here too.
It's Brett versus Manny.
It's Brett and Adam versus Manny. No, sorry. Well, here's the thing. I have no love for the Phillies. Like they're literally looking for reasons to riot. As soon as when they won that 1 year, they were rioting. So I'm sure right now Philly's just losing its mind right now because they're so pissed off about how they lost by 3 points. So yeah. So either way, you got to be afraid about your car. because some crazy motherfuckers who've like, yeah, man, we won, and they'll smash your window. You fuckers, we lost. Psh, but we live out like 40 minutes out, so it's not that bad out here.
Here's the weird thing I've noticed about I'm not big into super. I've watched the last couple of years. I didn't watch it this year, but
yeah,
it seems every time the Chiefs win, it's this dramatic turnaround. I'm not sure if they just have a lack of motivation on the front end, but like. Almost every one of their games, they're like losing by halftime, and then they win by the end. It's the weirdest goddamn thing.
It's funny too. During the halftime show, they were talking about the score, and they were down. Right? It was like a touchdown or so, and it's like, but they're known as the comeback team, so expect that in the second half. And sure enough, that's what happened.
That's what happened.
Yeah. So expect that. Like, what do you mean? Exactly. It reminds me of in Dragon Ball Z when Gotenks is just like. Keeps throwing the match because I gotta make a cool comeback when I finally beat him. Piccolo's like, just fucking do it, man.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there you go. A little bit of current events for you folks out there who are into sports ball.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Well, I mean, other than the Super Bowl happening today, I would say one thing. Jossie was watching the halftime show because Brianna was doing it. Yo, that shit was crazy. Like, they had these floating platforms that they had dancers on. So, and then there's actually nowadays I guess they don't have any real cameras like on the like far cameras or anything like that. They were just using fucking drones. So they're flying the drone through the dancers up on the top of these giant fucking floating platforms, and then like the finale of the shit. She gets on a platform and they pull her up like 50,000 feet in the air.
God. And she's pregnant.
She's pregnant. She's pregnant, and they had those dancers dancing on those things.
That's ridiculous. I would have been paranoid the whole time when my wife was well. I was like, I'm freaking out. I would not do that.
I would not do. I tweeted this. I said, I hope they paid this woman over like billions of dollars because that's exactly how much you would have had to pay me to get on there, and I am nobody.
Well, apparently she came out of like semi-retirement. She hadn't performed in years to do this, and they were like, "Oh, because she wants to start a family, do the whole thing. She's rich, she made everything." So yeah, I'm sure they just threw buckets of money, and they said, "Oh, by the way, we're gonna put you on a platform, and we're gonna levitate you like Chris Angel style, and we're gonna have drones around you."
It looked like platforms from Super Smash Brothers, like floating up in the air.
Three of them. Yeah. And a few times you see when she gets on them, she looked behind, so she made sure because she was still moving, not sort of grooving with it. I'm like, I would not move at all. And my wife's like, she was like, they must have her like secure somewhere. I'm like, no, because remember she starts off at one and then she just walks off it. Yes. And then starts walking around and she's on the main platform and then she walks back on it and then it goes up again. I'm like, oh my Lord. And it's dark there, you know, and all the bright.
If you saw it, it's pretty damn impressive, but it's fucking scary as fuck.
Oh yeah, that was she had no fear. All the respect, and she was by herself, so it's not like she had two people next to her, like holding just in case. No in case. If she stumbled the wrong way, off she goes. It's a horror show. Go to commercial. You know.
Yeah. All right. Let's answer some game questions.
Let's talk about some games.
All right. We're gonna start off with some controversy tonight, man.
Oh yeah, what's this controversy? What's talking about?
It's about a Wizard game.
Oh, Wizard game. I mean, Wizard. I hear Wizard is doing really horrible, and Hasbro is messing it up.
Well, it's got to be for the save file. That's the only hard thing I heard. That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
It's definitely not the most streamed game in history.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. It's also not selling well.
Are you kidding?
No, it's obviously kidding. The game.
I know.
Anyway, the first question here from Mr. J Ship. All right. This past week, a reviewer reviewed a AAA game as a 1 out of 10. The reasoning why is obvious, and unfortunately, it shines a negative light on honest reviewers in the gaming industry. My question is, realistically, how often does this happen with games, even if it's just 1 or 2 points off? So he's asking, how often do like people's agendas like affect our review scores? A lot. It does. Here's the thing. It does. I really am glad you asked this because I held my tongue kind of. I just said one thing about it on Twitter because this got me fucking heated, right? And you know, I do need to preface it with, I don't care about Harry Potter the franchise. I legit don't care. I'm an adult. I'm not into that shit, you know. But as a game reviewer, I find this very bad. Like, okay, here's the thing. Unless a game doesn't work, no game is deserving of a 1 out of 10. The only way you get a 1 out of 10 is you put it in, you know, the console or try to load the file and it doesn't work. That's the only justifiable reason to give a game a 1 out of 10. And on some personal shit, right? I reviewed Godfall. I almost gave that a 1 out of 5 because I hated the game. And my editor rightly told me, Tony, does this game boot up? Is it mechanically sound? He's like, yes. The lowest score you could give it is 2.5. I'm like, you know what? That's fair because the game works. It does function. So in this case, you can't give it less than a 4 unless it's just fucking broken. So it was just obviously a fucking agenda going on here, right? And again, I don't care about Harry Potter. I don't care about any of that bullshit going on with it. But like, if you're gonna do that, at least say it's an opinion piece. Fine, go nuts. You can't go, oh, I don't like this game. 1 out of 10. No,
I wouldn't have even looked at that. I wouldn't even look. I wouldn't even bother. I don't care what he has to say.
I read like the first couple paragraphs. Like, this is fucking absolute. It was just bad. It like, I don't know what editors. Actually, I know exactly what happened. They were like, oh, this is gonna get us clicks. Go ahead. You know, very disheartening to see this. It's like, because yes, a game review is fundamentally an opinion, but you're also evaluating a tech product, which is what a game is, right? So you have to factor that in too. If it's mechanically sound, you can't give it a 1 out of 10. That is fucking egregious, man. It got me so heated seeing that shit.
Yeah, that's
not right.
I mean, that's not. It isn't right that happened. But the thing about it is, it's like there's there's also that factor, and and you did say before, it's like, have people given bad reviews because of the content of games? Yes, they have actually.
Yeah,
quite a bit, and it's a weird one,
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And again, they're only doing this because of the controversy surrounding it. Okay, I'm going to try to say this in the most sensitive way possible. I'm going to skirt around, right? But basically, this game is being accused of being anti-Semitic, right? My thing is, let me finish. If you see a specific race in this game and you think Jews, I think that says something about you. I'm just saying, yeah. Like that's I'm like if that's the first thing that comes to your mind, that's pretty disturbing right there, dude.
But I mean, but the thing about it is that those characters look that way in the movies.
Yeah, but again, yeah, they do. But the point is, they're trying to find anything negative about this game to throw at it because they want to, appear virtuous.
Want to hurt it. Want to hurt it. It's bullshit.
Obviously, it's not working. We got a question about it, but you're right. It's stupid. But that review as a review, and Adam, you review games too, obviously, and you
yeah. I would never. Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
No. Come on now. That's dumb. Because it's clearly putting your own personal agenda, beliefs, and ideas. It's like that's not the product. That's not it. And you got to go based off of what is in front of you. Just like you said with that, it was like, does it boot up? Does it do this? Yes, because that's what people want to know. Yeah. A large majority of people don't follow all the bullshit that's on the Twitter. They know Harry Potter from the books and the movies, and they're like, "Hey, is this a cool game? Am I in the universe?"
They care about. That's all they care about.
And I feel like that's a lot of the reception that it's gotten from people like people who've grew up with this franchise, who love the franchise. They're just having a ball with it.
Yeah, they're loving it. It's giving up. The game is giving them exactly what they want.
And then the other part of it is the fact that even the developers have said multiple times they do not have the opinions of the author.
Yeah.
And they even went through the point of essentially making characters that are more diverse as far as other things go. And from what I can see, everybody seems to enjoy.
You can create your own character. You can create. Make your character literally create.
And there's also characters that represent other types of sexualities and all that other stuff. They have all of that sort of stuff in there. So if you wanted to make those sorts of make a character like that, you can totally do that. Now, I feel like it's like if you were to make a game about the Harry Potter universe or make some content where you essentially give a player the ability to be their sort of own version of Harry Potter. I mean, to be honest, if I were into the Harry Potter franchise, I would definitely think that this is exactly what I've always wanted.
Yeah. But people are letting their agendas get in the way. It's really sad what's happening. And let's. I want to go to the next question because it's still related. And also want to give a shout out here. Toon Medic, our boy. Mr. Michael Santiago, he is
if you're paying attention to his Twitter, he is loving that game.
Yeah, but if you know Michael, as Manny and I know, he is a very cool, chill guy. He's not a bomb thrower or anything. He's a very good guy, right? Even he's getting attacked for liking this game,
That's unfortunate, man, because that guy's like the nicest guy on the planet.
Yeah, like that guy to me, he embodies the soul of a gamer, man. Like, we told this story before. Basically, growing up and even up until recently, he had no gamer friends. It was just him, basically, And then as soon as he met Danny and me, he found out about this larger game community. He really threw himself in there. Like I went to the video game New York Awards, right? Michael was there. He was like helping people in. He went to Harold, right? The guy who runs a place. He's like, "Hey, I want to volunteer. How can I help?" And he does this all the time with like various gaming like events around New York City. That guy is a real gamer, so it's just really sad to see this. He's not crazy, he's not a bomb thrower. He just loves video games, loves the community. So it's really sad that he's showing his love for this game and he's getting hated on, And by the way, the guy's a fucking EMT. He's out there saving people's lives every night, and he's getting this. It's fucked up.
Yeah, I was hoping that because I did see him posting a lot of the game, and I was hoping that it would come toward him too, because again, you could tell, like, even just from the tweets that he's done, like, you can tell that he's having an utterly awesome time. Yeah, he's loving it. To be honest, there's some people that I know that are also love the game too. They grew up with the Harry Potter franchise, and they love the books, they love the movies. And just seeing them just like having just this wonderful time with this thing, and then to hear that some dickhead is essentially pissing on their parade.
Yeah, it's fucked up. But Michael's question is related to the last one. How is it that someone who gives a video game a 1 out of 10 is still able to work as a journalist? Is a good question. Or how about the guy who negatively reviewed Hi-Fi Rush simply because Xbox has no first-party releases in 2022? What has happened to video game journalism?
Well, to be honest, I think a lot of that is just about the person's feels. You can't fully fully quantify that all that, that sort of stuff, and especially with a lot of the industry depends mostly on clicks.
Yeah.
If you're throwing out a hot take, hot take title, hot take article,
Yeah,
that's going to get you the business.
That's journalism in general.
Yeah,
that's
that was the thing with Kotaku a while back. Remember, what did they say? They cursed it, and for the title of the game, like, this is bullshit or crap. Remember, it was a while ago, a few years ago.
Unprofessional bullshit they did.
Yeah, they said some shit, and people are like, what the hell? Why would they do that? But it's all about getting the attention and the clicks. They know that people will just be like, whoa, what? Clutching their pearls, and then want to go to the site to see why did they say something like this.
And even then, a lot of times it's just people reacting to the title, and then and retweeting it and be like, "What the fuck is this?" Which is also again giving them attention. Giving them attention.
Well, just like anything else, everyone is entitled to an opinion, no matter how stupid it might seem. And I guess this is just the democratization of opinions, and obviously this person and whoever else is trying to review bomb this is in the minority, because all I've been seeing is this game just getting praise. Everyone talking about it on Twitter is just nothing but praise.
Yep.
The numbers are supporting it. The streaming is supporting it. So I for all my metrics, this game is a full-blown success story.
Yeah.
And it's not a surprise, because it is a Harry Potter game. The IP surpasses in terms of the intellect, in terms of the zeitgeist thing. It's up there. So we knew that it was going to have a backing. And when we saw this game when it first came out, all of us were kind of unanimous in terms of the way that we're like, whoa, this game looks much better than it's supposed to.
Yeah, we were like, what the fuck? This game looks dope. Why?
They literally put some serious money into that game.
Yeah,
and it shows. Like, just the way, like, I've watched some stuff of that, and I was just like, that is, again, if I were into that sort of thing, I would be like, wow, this is crazy. Like, imagine if they made a Lord of the Rings game on that level.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. No, I said that from the beginning. In general, I'm like, I really appreciate when you could tell a game is fucking expensive, that they threw money at it, and you see this like, whoa, they went all out here. That's commendable, But it's unfortunate that because of certain things, people are getting shitted on, and like you guys say, it's like, this is just happening on Twitter and social media. The outside public doesn't know anything about this. They're buying this game and they're loving it.
Yeah. They see Hogwarts, they see the Harry Potter thing, and they're just like, all right, this is the game I've always wanted.
Yeah. Right? And it is, like Tony mentioned, it is unfortunate that there are people that are just hating on it for some principles that they hold that have, a lot of it has nothing to do with how this game was created and what the game is about. But I do want to mention it. I do appreciate, and I haven't played the game, so I don't know. I don't really have that much of an opinion on it. But I do appreciate that when video games are made right and they're good and not broken cash grabs or things that shouldn't be released because they're actually broken. I appreciate what this game does, and making an IP game be good and not just be something that was thrown together to make money.
Yeah. Hold on, real quick. Blitz, I got to make a little correction here. It says okay. Oh no, I read it wrong. No, you're 100% right. I thought you said, unfortunately, in many cases, social media is a reality. Yeah, no, what you said is actually correct. Fortunately, in many cases, social media is not reality. Actually, in almost all cases, is not reality. Not at all.
No, it's not.
It just seems. It just seems bigger because we're on it all the time. But again, only 6% of the human population is on Twitter, right? And if you go by some studies, even accounting for bots, there's only maybe about 100 million active users. So think about that. Out of however many billion people are on Earth now, what are we at now? 7 billion, 8 billion, whatever. Okay, so think about that. 100 million is like super fraction of that.
Yeah.
And again,
not all of them are reading that thread or seeing that what's trending with that topic. They're on there for other reasons. They're on there for news or covering local politics in their area, whatever. They're not like, oh, what's the new gossip?
Yeah, no, you're right about that because that's like prevalent within gaming Twitter. If you're like on, basketball Twitter, you don't fucking know about it.
You're not going to see that. Yeah, you're not going to see that on your thread. You're not going to see any of that shit.
Yeah, exactly. So people are just blowing up. But like I always said, the reason Twitter stuff gets blown out of proportion is because every journalist of any kind is on Twitter. So to them, anything that happens on Twitter is a big deal. Kind of the same way that since most reporters are based out of New York, there's a fucking water main break on 42nd Street. Some guy in Jakarta knows about it, even though it doesn't affect them, But to the journalists, like, oh, it's happening in my backyard. This is big. I got to cover it,
Yeah.
Get me pictures of Spider-Man, Yeah.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing that happens with it, but at the same time, it's like, as we have always said, voting with your wallet is the deal. These are
the segue king. Hold on,
there you go.
Hold on, that's the next question from the great Chop. We haven't had him in a while. He goes, "What do you think of boycotting? Shouldn't everything be judged separately? Is it just a day and age we live in?" So, Manny, you could expand on that.
Again, voting with your wallet. That's if you don't like something, you don't buy it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if enough people don't buy it, that means that that will affect the bottom line, and then there won't be any more of it, right? And that was essentially something that was tried with suggested with this current game, that people shouldn't buy it because of certain things that were said about people involved. The creator said about certain things. Now the thing is, it's like, obviously that whatever most people don't even know what the hell that person said. So
most people don't even know who the person is.
Yeah, they just hear Harry Potter and they just think it exists.
Yeah,
right?
It's just Harry Potter and Hogwarts. Yeah, Dumbledore.
And there's all kinds.
You're a Dumbledore.
Yeah, man, you call me Dumbledore,
right? I want some crazy Texas slang. God damn.
I agree with Manny, and this person who's reviewing this game, and I have a quick.
That's not a review. That's not a review.
It's not a review. It's a rant. It's an unhinged rant.
Yeah, it's a rant. Yeah, there's no review there.
The person who did this rant, they're obviously putting their passion or agenda, or maybe they just want attention. Who knows what their motives are? I'm not gonna say what their motives are. But they release something that's truly, clearly against something that's releasing. Well, this thing that's releasing is one of the biggest hits of the year, and people are buying it regardless of the people who are advocating against it. At some point in time, this person is going to have to think, well, either most people are wrong or I'm wrong, and that's just the way of life with all these stuff.
Well, I'm sure the person thinks that everybody is an ignorant idiot, and they're all
Yeah, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, you're gonna be a needle in the haystack eventually, because this game is not. There's gonna be a sequel for this game, and the next time this person is gonna try to review it or rant about it, they know they're gonna go to deaf ears.
Yeah. Well, they should have brought up the real controversy, which is the save files that are being corrupted and deleted. And that's happening across all platforms. That's concerning. They're trying to figure out what's causing it. I know 2 people already that their shit got started over. They just lost their save file. No reason, no crash, just boot up and it's gone. So
there's a few like standing glitches that happen, like some graphical glitches that happen in it, and some other things, but overall it's not like Cyberpunk broken.
No.
Are you gonna give this game a shot? It seems for some reason
my daughter, she was playing it, and we had somebody on the site, they reviewed it and they made their image and stuff. They loved it. But no, it's I've never really got into Harry Potter. I think I've seen like 2 movies, The Prisoner of Someplace, and then the first one. And then that was it. But my daughter, she has the books and all that stuff. She likes it. She created her own character.
But to answer the question, does boycotting work?
I guess it can work
specifically.
It depends.
What are some examples we could think of?
Well, no, I mean, I don't know about the examples, but I think because I don't think there's really been any real examples of a boycott happening.
That's why I'm like we like okay.
But the thing is that the thing
how do they work? Yeah.
The thing about it is it involves it's a sort of more of a nuanced sort of answer because it really depends on people more than a certain amount of people being united on whether to walk away. Walk away and not go with something.
And it has to get picked up by mainstream media as much as people don't want to talk about it.
And also mainstream media. Yeah.
If it gets on, 5:00 news across the board, like the way GTA did, when they were talking about with the hot coffee and all that stuff, everybody knew about that. And they made it seem like, oh, you could just stumble across this, which you cannot.
Yeah.
But that's the way they were advertising, and everybody knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, go ahead, Carlos.
Yeah, and I feel like it's supposed to be an organized boycott, and I feel like the video game industry is not organized to boycott anything.
Yeah,
no. A lot of it is very splintered as far as different sort of things go. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's and there really hasn't been. Has there even been a game that's at least to our perspective, worth being boycotted?
No, not really.
The most recent that I know was when the whole thing that happened at Activision with the girl committing suicide and all that craziness, and then people were saying boycott Call of Duty. And that was what really started trending with the whole thing with the shareholders getting concerned that this was going to be a thing. Because, man, what if people did do this and stop playing it? It didn't happen. But exactly. there was an outcry for it because Call of Duty, what else are you going to play? It's one of those like, oh, boycott Madden because one of the quarterbacks beat his wife. We saw the video. It's not going to happen. People are like, well, then I just won't play that guy's team. Fuck it. I'll play another one. Whatever. It's not the end of the world. You can't just have one fault for it. And if something happens on it, it shouldn't impact everyone. And just like they said, the developer said with this, it's like, yeah, the creator had no involvement in this. We have the right to do whatever we want. That's what Warner Brothers, and they told us make this type of fucking game, and that's what we did.
I have to say that like those guys, like those are like the same guys that did Just Cause, right?
Right? I don't know.
It was the same guys that did Just Cause, right?
I think it's the same studio, but maybe not the same team.
But I would say like they, I mean, this is their second property based game. Like the first one, which didn't get a lot of attention because it was released on Metal Gear Day, was Mad Max, and that was also a very good game, better than it should have been.
Yeah, that was fun. I like that game.
I think and thinking about something that maybe could have gotten traction to boycott was Cyberpunk 2077 when it came out. But even that,
wasn't there one Battlefield game that people were like, let's boycott it because the developers already said, oh, you don't like it, don't buy it. People were like, well, okay. But I don't know if that's a boycott though.
Was that the Press X to
No,
something?
Battlefield 5.
No, that's Call of Duty. That was
Battlefield 5.
Yeah, it wasn't a boycott. It was just more a dying franchise that didn't.
It wasn't a good game though. It wasn't a good. I played it and I was like, this isn't that good.
Oh, was that the one where they're sort of like they had the girl with the robotic arm?
They changed history. They changed history. Yeah, like it's supposed to be historically accurate. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, and people were like, and then developers were like, oh, you don't like it, don't buy it. And people were like, okay, sure.
Yeah. it wasn't.
How does that work for you, you fucking dumbasses? Whenever people say that, I'm like, okay, people are going to listen to you. You know that, right? You tell them not to buy your stuff, they're not going to buy it. Like, it's pretty simple. You see that in the comic book industry too, but we're not going to get into that. Kelly Sue DeConnick, don't like it, don't buy it. Well, that's why nobody buys your dumbass books,
Damn, tell us how you really feel. I think in general, it's like, number one, the biggest thing, and this is something to know to understand with anything that you put out into the world as far as popular culture. You let the public make the decision as to whether they like something or don't like something. Don't tell them neither to not buy it. Don't tell them to buy it. Just give it to them and say, here it is. We made this. Do you like it or you don't? And that's it. You just don't. You just let it, because that is ultimately who makes the decision between the successes and failures of everything, whether that people decide to go buy it or not.
Yeah,
and you want to give yourself
like that. It used to be like that. And you want to give
and you want to give yourself the best chance, even if it's something that didn't work out so well in development, or you want to give yourself the best chance of at least catching something, and to essentially do anti-marketing, which is the dumbest thing ever. When you do anti-marketing, that doesn't work. You remember Dante's Inferno, when they were attempting to try to do anti-marketing for that thing? Granted, it did well, but at the same time, it was dumb because it was all a lie. Yeah. So just put your stuff out there. You don't need to tell everybody how you felt about doing it. If it becomes a success, it becomes a success. If it fails, it fails. Then what you do? You move on. You move on to the next thing, because that's just the way it is. This is as a person who's had many things that worked on for over time fail. So yeah, there you go.
All right, man. Let's move on to less depressing stuff. All right, mob hits. Is it possible for Microsoft to revitalize the Halo franchise by giving its other studios a chance to make smaller games similar to ODST? Can't hurt.
Of course, it's always possible. In different hands,
It couldn't hurt. I mean, to be honest, it's like. But I would also say that I would like, it'd be nice to at least let the studios do what they need to do. I don't know what Microsoft's stance is on, on how involved they are in the process of making Halo games. But I would say just, maybe that expectation of a Master Chief Halo or a numbered Halo game needs to be removed.
Who owns it with the Star Wars? It's not Disney for the games. Is it still LucasArts?
It's not.
Who is it?
The thing is, it's weird. It's like they did resurrect LucasArts games, but it's like a production arm.
So it's a production arm.
And they essentially do like what the Marvel games brand does, where essentially they're essentially a licensing company they license the property to these different studios.
The reason why I bring that up is because when that EA exclusivity deal ended, they had whatever group it was had a meeting with all the big publishers. Said, "Hey, show us what you could do." With certain IPs with Star Wars, and they all presented something, and that's what Microsoft needs. They have all these studios. Like, hey, everybody, if you have ideas, if you think you could do something better than 343, then put a little project together, and that'd be big, and let's do a showcase. Let's say summertime, August. Show up. Let's see what you got, because they need fresh eyes on this IP.
Yeah, and I also feel like they need fresh eyes on the IP, and then they also just need probably need to stay out of the way and let the studios do what they need to do. But the thing about it is, like, Halo's a tough room. If people are not seeing Master Chief or not seeing certain things about it, But then again, like, Bungie was able to make 2 games that didn't involve Master Chief at all. And they're probably 2 of the most beloved games in the franchise, right?
ODST. They expanded the universe when they did that, introducing more characters and stuff. It's just the writing got really the story, and then everything looked bland. Like even this last one, every room, every location looked exactly like the last, and that's just poor design right there.
Yo, man, I remember when we were playing it, Adam. We were like, so where are we supposed to go?
Yeah. And then
it's the other gray room in the other identical building on the other side of the map.
All the same design inside. I was like so bored.
Yeah. I agree with everyone else. I mean, it is definitely possible. I mean, the franchise is still, even though it's not as supported as it used to, it's still gets attention. So if there's a great product behind it, it can succeed. But it has to be the right studio. 343 is not them. We how many games do they have to provide for them to prove us right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. All right, let's move on to the next question. This one could be controversial. I think Bob Hitz was channeling the spirit of Black Metal Gamer with this one. But it's not as egregious as Black Metal stuff. At least this one I could actually ask. I'm like, with some Black Metal stuff, I'm like, dude, no, I'm not asking that on air. This one I can at least ask. Okay, how do you feel about race swapping existing main characters of big game franchises? Kind of like, when you had a movie, they do a reboot, they change the race of the character or whatever. So how would you feel if like a game did that? Like they do a remake of like Nathan Drake or whatever, and he's like Chinese or something, like would that bother you?
It doesn't bother me unless it's fitting with what's happening and the location. Like when they did Miles, they had
Miles not race swapped.
No, but it's still it's like a reboot because Spider-Man died.
Yeah, but
I think that's an example of how to do it well, Adam.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's like it fit. All of that fit. It made sense. So if it makes sense, then
you didn't do away with the original. Like that's kind of thing I think is key there. Like when they gave us Miles Morales, they didn't take away Peter Parker. He still had his whole own comic book.
Yeah.
And I think that made a lot of people be like, okay, well, if you're not a fan of it, it's not like you have to read it, and I'm not losing anything. So it flew pretty well. I think a lot of times, this time what they're trying to do is they're for lack of a better term, they're taking the franchise hostage, right? And they're saying like, we changed something, and if you want to read Green Lantern, you're gonna fucking deal with it.
So wait, they did something to Green Lantern?
No, I was just thinking. I tried to reach for something that it was pretty hard for me to think of something that didn't actually have a real life controversy around it.
Yeah.
Didn't they do that with Thor? Wasn't that a thing a while back?
Oh, Lady Thor? Yeah, she took his fucking name, man. Like, I don't care that she's a comic book hero. You can't take a motherfucker's name. And
it's a mantle. I know, fuck that. That's his name. That's an actual. That's not a fucking mantle. It's a name.
Yeah. God of Thunder is a mantle.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to say the Goddess of Thunder all day? Go ahead.
If they called the book God of Thunder, or
Goddess of Thunder, sure.
Goddess of Thunder. What's her name?
Yeah.
What's her name? I can't remember her name. Something blah blah blah. Goddess of Thunder. That would have been interesting. But what the thing about it is
Jane Foster.
Jane Foster, Goddess of Thunder. Sure. Why not?
Sure, why not?
I would say the thing about it is, and when it comes to that character, I think it's them trying to have their cake and eat it. A lot of times what happens is that you see this around the industry where they can't give up those familiar names because behind those familiar names is money.
Yep.
Like you see, like having absolutely new characters that nobody's ever heard of totally gets, it doesn't work nowadays, and it's even tougher since, especially with the comic industry the way it is.
Yeah.
So you have to use those familiar names. That's why Miss Marvel is now Captain Marvel, because that is a more familiar name than Miss Marvel. All those different titles, whenever you have those sorts of switches of characters, rather than make a new character, it's another character. It's another character wearing the other character's clothing and name. So I would say, like, when it comes to rebooting for video games, officially that hasn't happened yet, right?
No, not that I know of.
Like,
if you guys could give us examples, that'd be great. But I can't think of any.
Like I would, like Last of Us. Obviously, they essentially race swapped Joel. Joel is essentially Hispanic.
Yeah, but like the video game, well, he's dead, so it doesn't matter. So, but like in the actual video game, we haven't seen that yet. Oh, spoiler alert for a 2-year-old game.
Yeah, so
2 years, more than a 2-year-old game.
But
you're Joel's right. Shit.
Joel's is Hispanic. Joel's daughter is half, half black, half Hispanic. So like, but I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a race swap happen in a game.
It actually has happened.
Yeah, when has that happened?
Which one?
Dead Space Remake. If you look at it, when you first do the intro, I think there's 4 people. There's you, there's your girlfriend in the intro. There's your girlfriend, the captain, and some random red shirt person.
The wife is still on the ship. That's just the chick that's there.
Yeah, okay, yeah. There's you, some chick, the captain, and some red shirt guy. In the remake, they replaced him with a black woman.
Well, no, there was actually never a driver for the ship.
No, there was.
There
was. No, there
added
was.
people. They added people.
They added that character there.
No, I played the original not too long ago, and yeah, there was a person there. It was a guy. Like he just had no name, had nothing. Like he was, like his job is that he just went and he flew the ship and then died.
Oh, okay.
And they swapped him out for her.
But I mean, it's not
hence
like
race and gender swapped.
Well,
yes, it's not a main character.
It's not really an important character, but we haven't.
Yes,
we
but
haven't
still,
haven't gotten to the point of Black Laura Crofts yet.
So. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, and then we'll be at this conversation again, and it's like, oh yeah, it did happen now. It's like, yeah, it did happen.
I almost it's weird. I can't see it happening within a franchise, like like a numbered game. Like in other words, Nathan Drake essentially turning, another race or another sex in a new game.
No, but the question is how. The question is how would you feel about that?
I don't know. It's because it sort of depends on the game.
Yeah.
If
character. I don't know, like Black Nathan Drake or Hispanic Nathan Drake. I feel like if the game itself is actually done well, I'd be sort of okay with it.
I think it's just however well they do. Like I want to say I don't like it when they fuck with established characters in comic books, but then there's times where they really got it right, like with Nick Fury and Domino. You're like, God damn, that feels better. Like if it's an improvement, it's an improvement. I think this all comes down to it's not about politics. It's just about the quality of writing, man.
Yeah, like with Nick Fury, like they changed him for Ultimates. Like he still at his core was always Nick Fury. He's just sort of he was just played by Sam Jackson now. And Domino in the movie, in the Deadpool film, I didn't have any issues with her. I actually quite liked her rendition of Domino. Though she's sort of inverted Domino, but it's I didn't have issues with those.
So yeah, it's just when they do it badly. What was it?
Having Killmonger as Human Torch, didn't hate it either.
Yeah.
The movie was bad, but
it was a bad movie. I feel like it was a bad movie, but I didn't have any. Well, maybe the weird connection between Susan Storm and Johnny Storm. I thought that was weird.
Yeah, that was my problem. The fact that he was adopted or she was adopted, one of them was adopted.
Yeah,
that changes the whole dynamic here.
I think to be honest, I feel if they were gonna go down the line of having Johnny Storm black, then just make Susan Storm.
Yeah,
black
that's
too.
what I would. That's what I literally said that when the movie came out. Why did you make her black? They're supposed to be brother and sister. That changes the whole dynamic right there.
Also, Sue Storm in the first batch of Fantastic Four movies was race swap.
She was race
swap. Yeah,
swap.
she was Hispanic.
Yeah, but that was the heart of the question because we see this in movies all the time. So he just wanted to know what we think if the game started doing that.
I don't know. I mean, it sort of just depends on how well it's done. Like if it's a really badly done job, obviously it's like, oh, here we go.
I mean, yeah. No, I agree with Manny because it's like at the end of the day, most of the characters, it doesn't really mean anything. As long as the material is still good, but if the race is pivotal to the character, then that's the only time I would ever have an issue.
Make Black Panther white,
Yeah, if you're gonna make Black Panther white, and it's like, well, yeah, you're gonna have people who's like, well, technically South Africans are white, a lot of them.
Oh, the role of Black Panther will be now played by Elon Musk. Oh, God. No.
Oh man! All right, on that cherry note, let's move on to more questions. All right, we got Kishak in the house, man. All right, his question is with regards to the Activision Blizzard deal. Do you guys think the CMA has called Microsoft on its bluff when Microsoft said the primary purpose of this deal was to get King and COD, and COD was the lesser priority, but now the CMA is using Microsoft's own words against it by basically saying, bet, sell off COD then. So basically what happened is, the CMA, they did their conclusion, like, okay, if you say Call of Duty is not that important to you, then how about you just don't buy that part? Here's the thing I don't understand. What they said was, let me finish, Adam, because I do got a question for you. Because they said sell out Call of Duty, but they don't own Call of Duty yet. So how could they solve something they don't own yet?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They said go ahead and pay this ridiculous, close to $60 billion deal, and then once you get it, sell it off.
Okay,
that portion.
Yeah,
and that's even then they know it's bullshit. Yeah. So they're like, listen, but either
bullshit.
Yeah, but then even at the end of that announcement, it's like, but we can work out something. We just want to hear from them. Okay, so then you're going to hear from them, and there's going to be some deals. Because, again, even in that report, it doesn't mention anything about the 10-year offer to Nintendo. It just says that they're going to not have their games on other platforms and that this can be harmful for UK games. Who said that? They never said that.
No.
So it's bullshit. Again, it's bullshit. They're out of the loop. So but at least unlike the FTC, they said they want to talk to now Microsoft. They're like, here's the issues that we have. Their concerns, which everybody knew there was going to be some concerns, but they didn't block it. They said, all right, we have these concerns. Now you present what you think. Because they were linking like, oh, they own cloud gaming. They have all the big clouds out there. No one else has a cloud. No, PlayStation has a cloud. Nintendo has their bullshit cloud. There's other services out there. But it's just all the way they were wording things. It's like as if you asked your grandpa to talk about tech. It's like, what the hell? Where were you reading this? And that's why I sent you guys that video, because it really looks like they had no idea. And it was like, all right, whatever Jim Ryan said, let's just go with that. And then Microsoft, you dispute whatever this motherfucker. We don't really know what's going on here. Because if you think about it, it's like, all right, well, if you're offering all these deals to get on other platforms, then what's the real problem here? And why would you hurt the product? Because that's the thing. They're like, oh, well, they want to get everybody on their hardware. I'm like, no, it's a software company. Microsoft's always been a software company. They don't give a shit at this point. They just want to make money. Game Pass is on all these platforms. And that was the other thing I mentioned. Oh, you could only play this Game Pass service on their hardware. False.
No.
You can play it on an Android. You can play it on an iPhone. You can play it on a Mac.
PC.
You can play it on your PC.
You can play it on a Steam Deck.
You can play it on a Steam Deck. You could play it everywhere. And who knows? If you open up the browser on your PS5, maybe you can figure out a way to get that shit to work on there too.
Yeah, maybe if their browser wasn't a piece of garbage, but yeah.
It's those type of things that within the wording that was not mentioned, that it just shows they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. In their mind, they see it as, oh, Microsoft plans on buying this. They want to put all these big IPs on their Xbox, and that's it, and close the door. That's not what's happening.
Well, we don't know. We don't know the intentions. I think.
Well, we know at least for 10 years, for a decade, we know that's not going to work because they already signed that deal with Nintendo. If this happens, and then of course, can you imagine a time where you'll never see any kind of Call of Duty or Diablo or anything on PC? They would never do that, especially now with Steam. Steam has more users than Microsoft and Xbox and PlayStation combined. There's no way. You don't hurt that market.
Yeah, but they could hurt. I mean, they could still keep it on Steam and just say no to PlayStation.
I would definitely say no now. If you're going to keep busting my balls, then that's it.
Well, I mean, if I was Microsoft, I would have done that from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but they want to make money. I would leave it on there, but I would still put it on. And what we said when we first heard about this, it makes perfect sense to make that money. Yeah, go ahead, put it on all of them. But
there's a difference, between, okay, we can keep making the status quo, or we can make Game Pass the place for gaming. If Game Pass doesn't have that Call of Duty exclusivity, there's less of a chance of them reaching the peaks that they're trying to reach. So if I had a Call of Duty gauntlet and say I'm snapping my fingers and Call of Duty is now mine and nowhere else, then I would do it.
Yeah, but that doesn't make your money back. And it just makes more sense.
I mean, in the future, it's all about the future. It's all about
it's all about the future. Yeah, it's all subscription. But then same thing, like you said, if people start looking at this, like, oh, it's on all platforms. Why should I pick Xbox? Well, if you have Game Pass, it's free. You don't have to pay $70 for this game or $80 in a year or two when that happens. Who knows?
So what Adam is saying is that Game Pass cannibalizes sales.
Yeah,
it doesn't cannibalize sales. Because you still have to do the subs. And they own it.
So you're making my point.
And so what do you mean? What's your point then?
That it's all about Game Pass. The end goal is Game Pass subscriptions.
Exactly. But it's not to a hardware. It's the end is to get it on Game Pass, but Game Pass you can play it anywhere. So that's my point with it. It's not to lock the door just to have it on Xbox. Game Pass is not just on an Xbox console.
But it's a game. But it's an Xbox platform.
It's a platform, yeah. So it's on Minecraft and then Fallout and all the other ones, and it's still out there in the world. You can still make your money. It's still making money. People are still buying those things. They didn't all jump ship to say, all right.
But if you put Game Pass on PlayStation, I don't know if PlayStation ever gets a cut from all the subscriptions that Microsoft gets on Game Pass.
No, they probably not. But they'll keep their subs. They'll keep people on PlayStation for those who didn't feel like jumping ship, which I still don't think will happen unless. And the main reason why it really happened for PlayStation when everybody started jumping to Call of Duty on PlayStation is because they started adding exclusive content. Once they started putting all that exclusive content, the sort of the deal that Microsoft had, then it was like, well, I want that better map. I want those bonuses. All right, well, I'm going to play it on here. You're going to join me? Yeah, I'm going to go. And then your buddies all migrate over. But
what you're talking about right now is the exact reason why PlayStation doesn't want this to happen.
Yeah, because they lose that. They lose that deal. They lose that exclusivity, which is still happening. Mm-hmm. They lose that.
So and you know, I agree. It's, you know, if I was Microsoft, fuck yeah, I'm doing this. I'm making my platform the only one, like Riku-san. Yeah. By the way, I do want to mention something funny that I saw on the internet the other day.
Internet?
On the internets. Someone tweeted out, it said, Steam Deck users are like gaming vegans. Like they're always like preachy and stuff, you know. And I'm like, that's kind of true.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not untrue.
Yeah.
Have you thought about going Steam Deck?
Yeah. We're gonna take those Nintendo Switches out of your hand, give you something real, you know. How about this? You'll like this, you know.
Yeah, except the difference is, for the difference here is like Steam Deck's the one with the beef.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know. All right, man. Moving on here. All right. We have a sponsored question, people.
Who's the sponsor?
For no reason whatsoever, we have a sponsored question here from a very loyal person who's been associated with Throwdown for about 6-7 years, called Citizen. For no reason whatsoever, he is sponsoring J-Shep's question. Question is, what are Adams' thoughts on EA's deal with the English Premier League after losing FIFA? And do you see anyone picking up FIFA after they reported asking price of $1 billion?
What? I don't know. What's the question? Wait, what? Okay. What's this question?
What are your thoughts on EA's deal with the English Premier League after losing FIFA? And do you see anyone picking up FIFA after their reported asking price of $1 billion?
No. We brought this up before. It's the same thing, and I keep telling everybody, FIFA was just the name. It's just the federation. The deal was not with the leagues. Of course, the EPL is still going to stay with EA because they make a big cut from the Ultimate Team. They make money from that shit. The fact that they give access to all the players to take the new images and the stats and all that stuff, that's all part of the Premier League. And EA pays for that. They pay handsomely to all these federations.
$588 million they pay.
Yeah, they're all making their money. So I don't see anything changing, which is why EA said, you know what? Why we can save even more money if we just drop this FIFA, because no one pays attention. Besides the World Cup, no one really pays attention to it. And that's the only tournament that FIFA, the governing body, really interacts with. Yeah, that you'll hear a lot of them during the transfer market because they oversee just might try to make things fair on the back end, but that's not a league. That's nothing. Their main thing is the World Cup, which only happens once every 4 years.
Yep.
Now, when it comes to if anything, if you talk to anybody who's really into football and you say, hey, which tournament do you prefer, the World Cup or Champions League? Most of them will say Champions League because that's happening every year. That's the best clubs from around the world competing. That holds a lot of weight, and it was a big deal when that was with Konami, and then they dropped it, and then EA picked it up, and they spent a lot of money for that. And now we know how they're going to pay for all of that by dropping the FIFA date. So I think it's not going to cause any issues. I think some people at first, a majority of people that are just casuals that don't follow it, but they didn't pick it up because it's a sport game and they like playing it. They may be concerned to pick it up. Like, well, is the EPL still here? Is Bundesliga? What's going on here? But then once it's all about the marketing and how EA really just emphasizes, no, it's business as usual. All your favorite players are here. All your favorite leagues and clubs are here. It's just with a new name. That's all they have to do. And I'm sure they'll put Mbappe back on. Go ahead, laugh. Tony, you love that name. Mbappe will be on the front cover. I know he has a multi-year deal because a lot of people are like, oh, next one's going to be Messi. But I think that multi-year deal is still there. Maybe they'll make a special edition or something or put a joint because he was a big name. He won the World Cup and the whole thing. But he's still with PSG. He's still going to be in the game. That has nothing to do with FIFA. So and even with the $1 billion for the other part of the question, that is ridiculous because the buyer, what are they going to get? They're just getting the name. They're not getting the league.
They're just getting the logos, the name, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. And the fact that they can do a tournament. All right, you could do the World Cup tournament. But now you have to get rights to the players and you got to get rights with the national teams. And a lot of countries already have those deals with EA because EA, think about this. Way before, once EA had first started in the game of making football games, we had separate games. We had David Beckham had his own soccer game. We had Major League Soccer tried to do their own soccer game. You had all these other leagues trying to make their own game, and it just wasn't working. And it wasn't until EA said, listen, we're going to open up the wallet. We're going to pay for you, and we're going to put all these leagues together, all in one game. And then it helps everybody because this is the one-stop shop for anything football globally. What do you think? And they all jumped in on it. So now for FIFA to cut off and say, all right, $1 billion for our name. And it's like, all right, can we bring this? Well, we got deals. Sorry, we got to deal with EA. If we piss them off and they drop our local clubs, then what? Then we're asked out. Then now we're hoping that something better comes along. It's the best you can get at this point. I mean, with the amount of detail and work, and it's so ingrained in the sport, just the company and the developers and all the detail to start over. That was the whole reason why with Konami, when they dropped out of the race, that was it. Everybody was like, put their hands up, like there's nobody else because they put in so much time and money with their soccer game, and it was very arcadey, but they tried. They really tried. They were spending big money to get Barcelona, some players. Then they lost the right to that. Then they like, well, we got Camp Nou, which is a stadium. Then they got Juventus, but they couldn't afford to get full leagues. They could only get teams. And that's just not enough. It's just not enough. It's too much. I'm sorry. It's just too much. So I don't think it's going to happen. They can try to pitch it around, but that price, it's not going to pay for it because then once they get it, like, where's everything else?
Yeah. So I would say that the biggest part of a lot of this is, like you said, it's getting people to make that mental connect them mentally between the two things that FIFA and this game are still one of the FIFA soccer games and this one are one and the same. The only difference is the name has changed, and that can be that can cause issues in general.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure
it's not that familiarity anymore.
Yeah. And I gotta find it. If I knew about it, I would have brought it up. But when the president of EA, he said that this is something that they talked about before the deal had to be renewed the last time. But they were so scared of like, oh, the community, the people are not going to really understand. It's going to confuse them and the whole thing. Yeah. So they just did the payout again. But then it came around again, and then since then, like I mentioned, they have Champions League, and that didn't come cheap. And it's like, all right, well, you know what? We don't need it. We really don't. And it's just so they have the install base, especially with Ultimate Team. And that could be the trigger right there for at least people that are.
That could be the name of the game.
It
could just be called, blah, blah, soccer or football pro, whatever.
EA already said that it's just going to be called EAFC. That's it.
They can name it Supreme Evolution Soccer.
Well, that was right. Supreme Evolution. That was Konami's Evolution Soccer. It was sad. It was sad. It was all right. It was fun, but it couldn't compete on that authentic level of all the leagues, and that's the problem that FIFA's going to have when trying to get anyone else to jump aboard because they don't have that. So it's going to be fun. I'm curious to see how EA. I'm sure they're just going to get some of the big names and have them in all the commercials just to rest people's concerns. It's like, all right, well, this guy's
man, pull out what's his face? They had him on the stage. Oh shit.
Pele?
Not Lawless. Yeah, you get Pele out, man.
Isn't he dead? He died.
What?
Yeah. Pele died this year. Yeah, a few months ago.
That's R.I.P. Pele.
Yeah, Pele died. So no.
Maradona died like 2 years ago.
Yeah, a few years back he died. So Beckenbauer's still around there. They could, if they wanted to bring an altar, but they're gonna
get Alexi Lawless. What is he doing?
Well, Alexi Lawless, right? That's a legend, man. I got his jersey still. But one of the things that I always enjoyed, and I'm sure this is what they'll do, is that every region of the world, whenever they release another, I guess we'll just say EA game, be a FC game, they put the big star of that local league or whatever on the front cover, so that way they get that connection. And as long as they continue doing that, I don't think we're going to see that much of a disconnect of people not sure when they see that this game doesn't have the FIFA branding on it. They'll see a big EA. They're like, all right, I know them. And then they see whoever the star player is from their league on the front, of the cover, whether it's Mbappe or we have anybody from England, if they want to put Harry Kane or something. Harry Kane right now is like the big one. If they could put him in from the EPL or Holland. I don't know if they want Holland. No, maybe they won't. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. But either way, we'll see what happens. But I think people are so invested. You've seen the install base all over the world. People play this game, and they're gonna know. And then here's the other thing: once you boot up, and this happens in Call of Duty, and when it happens in FIFA and Madden, all of them, when you boot up the previous game, a splash screen comes up telling you about pre-ordering the next game. And they're like, hey, click this button and you get like a 10% discount or whatever because you're a returning player. They're going to see the new name. So even if they're not sure about it, if they're just even a casual who plays every once in a while, as soon as they boot up and they see, oh, there's a new FIFA 24 coming and this is now with a new name, it's still their same great soccer experience. Just pre-order here if that's the only game they get because they follow the sport. As long as there are leagues in there that they care about, they're fine. They'll be okay.
All right, let's move on here. Logic wins. By the way, real quick, Jay Shep thanked you, Adam, for the very thorough answer, so that's good. Yeah, Logic wins, who's been joining us tonight. All right, it's only February, and we've been treated with multiple surprisingly good games like Hi-Fi Rush and Hogwarts Legacy. What are some games coming out in 2023 that you're personally excited for, but are falling under the radar with the general gaming public? My personal picks are Dead Island 2, Wanted Dead, and Greedfall 2. So these are games you're anticipating that are under the radar that no one's really talking about.
I'm so confused by Wanted Dead. Have you seen that?
Never heard of it until
it's like
yes, it looks amazing,
right? It's like what? So is it anime? But then it's not. They have one trailer that's like 20 minutes long. It's just an anime, like with this girl and stuff. And then there's another one where it's another character. It doesn't look anime. She's fighting. She's shooting. She's like beating people up. It has that Yakuza feel, but with guns and stuff. It's interesting. It comes out in what next week?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll go down the line here. Manny, are there any under the radar games you're looking forward to? I'm going to take that as a no, so I'll move on. Carlos, you have anything you're looking forward to that's under the radar?
I don't know if it's hard to qualify them as under the radar. Are people forgetting about Starfield now, or how's that going? But yeah, other than that, I don't think anything under the radar that I'm usually under the radar things. I usually find out when it comes out.
Yeah, it's generally the same thing for me. The only two games I'm looking forward to this year are big ones. Final Fantasy 16 and Spider-Man 2. That's it. I don't really. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Brett, are there any under the radar games looking forward to this year?
Really just Dead Island. That's one of those things where I think every once in a while, even I'm like, oh yeah, that's still coming out. I'm really excited about that. But I don't know why nobody's talking about it, because I really enjoyed the first one. I thought it did pretty well. But yeah, y'all know me. I love those just first person melee murder hobo zombie games.
Hobo zombie games.
Adam, do you have anything under the radar besides, I guess, Wanted Dead? Is that it?
Well, that's up there, but then of course, my wrestling game. I don't know if you count that as under the radar, because
sure, I'll count
from what you, but both of them, the WWE one, and then also we got the AEW one. They're talking about having exploding ring death matches, nudity, all kinds of nuts shit. So I'm looking forward to that.
All right.
And there was something else. So wait, this one. All right, go ahead.
No, you can name as many games as you want. Doesn't matter.
Oh, there was one that was really under the radar where it's like I don't even know if it's gonna come out. Oh shit!
He'll remember it.
Go ahead, go.
What's up, man?
Some fun side note: Wanted Dead has a character you recognize, Tony. The girl from Metal Gear Solid 5, Quiet. She's in it.
Oh really? Oh wow. Cool.
Yeah.
Brian, do you have anything you're looking forward to that's under the radar that no one's talking about?
Technically not Wanted Dead, since Adam is talking about it. Nothing else really. Yeah, it's like most of my games I'm looking forward to don't have dates yet, so I'm just kind of like up in the air. I never really had interest for Dead Island. Again, like everyone else, I was enthralled by the first one's trailer, and then when I heard that that trailer was not indicative of the game, it's like, oh, I was looking forward to it, but hey. So yeah, didn't care. And then after I'd played, what's the other zombie game?
Dying Light.
Dying Light, yeah. After I played Dying Light, I was like, I have no interest to return to Dead Island in any capacity. So yeah, Dead Island 2, I'm kind of like, it can come out, might be good, might be bad, no idea. Not looking forward to it. So yeah, and Starfield isn't under the radar, so it doesn't count.
Yeah. What about you guys?
I think I had more fun playing Dead Island than I did Dying Light.
Blitz says Sea of Stars. Does anybody know that game?
No, that would definitely qualify as under the radar. I've never
heard of it. Yeah. What about the rest of you guys in the chat? What other under the radar games you're looking forward to? Abandon.
I was going to say day before, but
I don't think that's under the radar now.
I don't think that game's coming out.
It's never coming out.
Day before. Day before one of the because they lost the rights to it.
Go ahead, Brian.
To be fair, last year we were saying that. Last year the guy had said that he was planning to release like a trailer or something towards the end of the year, and then we all said, okay, let's wait until the end of the year to see what happens. And came to the end of the year, nothing happened. So I think it's fair to say that this game is either in so much trouble that no one's actually making it anymore, or it's not real.
Brian, would you say the game has been abandoned?
Yep. No, it's been worse than abandoned. It's been abandoned. Nature's taken it back, and it's like those buildings in The Last of Us. It's just now just nature now. Like it doesn't matter. It's
you're
gone.
roboting.
Nope.
Yeah, you're right. But Brian, think about it. Like their last 6 games suffered the same fate, so this one was not going to be any different.
It's like that Grim Reaper meme where he's opening up the doors. And they're all games on.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. All right, moving on here to Meke. Right, he actually one of his questions was what are the most influential games? So we've answered that in the past. His other question, there's also one we've answered before, but I'll ask it again because why not? For those that enjoy revisiting games, what is the one game you return to that reminds you of why you love this hobby so much? Adam, I'm going straight to you, man.
Shit, tons of games. One of them was the Dead Space remake. I love that game. That is just, it brings back such good memories. It's fun. They add all these new things. But almost everything that I play, I was playing Rockstar Table Tennis last night on my Steam Deck.
That's
the
one
Wii
for
version.
sure, yeah.
Playing that Metal Gear. I got that a different version of it working on the Steam Deck, and that's fun. I just like playing shit. Even if it's old and going back to it, I just do it. I don't know why. And I'll just play through the whole thing over again. It doesn't bother me. I don't see it as a waste of time because it brings enjoyment. I enjoy playing these games. Downstairs, my daughter was getting ready to do something. And, I have the Capcom Anniversary arcade downstairs. And I was just using the thumbstick. I put some new orange bat tops on. Like doing Hadouken and stuff, and my wife was like, telling my daughter, like, tell Daddy to stop playing with it because it's not even on. And I was like, yeah, but I'm just so used to the motions, and just like flicking my hand half circle, back and forth and doing all. I just enjoy it. It brings happiness. It's one of my things. So yeah, all the old stuff I enjoy playing.
Yeah. What about the rest of you guys? I don't have one of those games. I don't go back to play games unless it's remastered or something that I got to review. I don't.
Final Fight. I play Final Fight constantly. So
let's see. I still go back to Metal Gear games, but I mean it's like because I'm playing some of them on this old ancient device that I'm coding in my hand.
That's a PSP, isn't it?
It's a PS Vita, man.
Oh, it's a Vita. Okay, nice.
Yeah,
for some reason, I thought
Vita.
it was a PSP.
Oh, no, it's the OG Vita.
Nice.
You would know my Vita because it's the Metal Gear Vita. But I went back to finish off Gravity Rush. I finally got the Gravity Slide mode to work, on there. And then I was playing a little bit of Metal Gear 2, Solid 2, because there's if you have the Metal Gear Solid X HD collection, there is transferring, which allows you, to start a game on one, and then you can go between both of them. But when I initially did transferring when I bought the HD collection for PS3 years ago, the Vita version didn't come out until maybe a year or two, maybe a year later or a few months later. So it didn't have that ability to bring over the save. So I got when I finally did do it, I sort of managed to do it with Metal Gear Solid 3 and got the trophies for everything, but not for 2. So I only got half the trophies. I only got the VR mission trophies, which were made during transferring. So I went going back and essentially playing through Metal Gear Solid 2 again, getting all the dog tags and all that stuff in all the different levels, and just essentially getting the platinum for that. So yeah, I go back to Metal Gear games every so often. I was thinking about playing 4 again, and maybe going through the whole process of doing Big Boss Extreme and all that other shit in there. But it was a long haul. When we initially did that, I don't know how long ago was that? Over 10 years ago now, Tony?
Yeah, it was actually more than that. Metal Gear Solid 4, right?
Metal Gear 4, yeah.
That was like 13 years ago or something.
That was like 13 years ago, yeah. So it's, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but because that's a long one. If anything, if I do go back to anything, it's usually games that are a little bit shorter, because I can at least go back and play them over again. But that's about it. And maybe some of those old, again, I went back to play all the old Turtles games pretty recently with the Turtle collection they put out.
So that was fun revisiting it. But again, that was a remaster. That's why I went back for.
Well, no, that Turtle game was not. Those Turtle games. Well,
it was remasters. It was a remaster.
A re-release.
It was a re-release. Yeah.
Yeah, so usually a re-release is a good excuse to go back and play it. Like, let's say if they do some sort of osmosis, they managed to get Metal Gear 4 running on the current gen consoles.
Yeah, I go back.
Definitely would go back on it. Yeah,
I would go back for sure. Anybody else? Old games that you always revisit?
No, I'm similar to Tony. Not just don't really go back to games as much.
Yeah.
I think Adam overcompensates for all of us.
He really does. He really does for sure. But yeah,
I always go back to Souls games. I think that's one of the reasons I enjoy them. It's one of the few games I do. I'm just like, I just want to go back and do this. After God of War, I was like, I want to go back and play Elden Ring. I want to get some better combat in my.
Yeah, but would you go back to something like a Dark Souls 1?
I did.
You did?
The remake. I did the they did the remake, and I did.
Well, no, that's Demon Souls.
OG Demon Souls. I don't have the soft spot in my heart for Demon Souls. Like, I didn't play it until later, so the nostalgia factor really isn't there for me.
Even the fancy new PlayStation 5 version?
Oh no, I fucking love that. That was great. That was great. That was everything I wanted until and everything I dared ask for, and then Elden Ring came out and gave me everything I didn't.
And then you're like, Demon who?
Yeah. Yeah, it changed the game, man. Changed the game. Wait for that DLC. That's what I'm waiting for.
Elden Ring.
All right, good stuff. Moving on here, Black Metal Gamer. He is back, people.
Black.
Right. He said, you guys recently discussed how Nintendo seems to cater to women and children. Do you think the company's squeaky clean image is also attractive to religious people? If so, does this help sales? Very interesting question.
Religious people.
Yeah, we don't have any data.
That's a good point.
It is. It's a very good point.
The VeggieTales crowd all have.
I mean, in general, I would say because their squeaky clean image, it would be conducive to people that are religious. But I would also throw up the Pokemon franchise, which has been the religious community has been a starch proponent to because they feel it's unholy. So it depends.
Yeah.
I think it definitely comes off as more wholesome.
Yes,
you always hear that people like when they think of all the consoles out there, and if they have small kids, and someone says, "Hey, I want to get my kid this game thing. What should I get?" The first thing they will go with Nintendo.
Yeah, say Nintendo.
Mario is wholesome. Yoshi, come on, these are like, don't worry about any shooting and blood.
But the funny thing about it is there is also the dark side of Nintendo, the part that nobody really talks about. The fact
we talk about it on Throwdown.
The fact that all of their games are not really censored when they come to the N for mature rating. As Nintendo, and also let's also say that Bayonetta, while being what is it? What is the rating on that game? M?
I don't think so. I could be wrong about that. Game? I could be wrong. Let me check.
I feel like Bayonetta is an M.
It could, because let me check. For some reason, my brain's telling me it got changed to T when it gets to the but I'm probably fucking wrong.
No, you can turn off. Like, here's the thing: you can turn off her.
I'm probably dead fucking wrong.
But
yes,
yeah,
but there we go. But the first one is M for mature for sure. What about the other two?
The Nintendo ones. I think they're still M.
Yeah, let me check. Let's verify here. Whoa, what? That doesn't sound right.
What are they, teen?
Oh, no, it is. Yeah, M. Okay.
So, yeah, there's also the dark side of Nintendo, which they published an M for mature game. But, that those things aren't in the forefront, It's still a very
Bayonetta would not be approved by religious people. That's for a fact.
No, Bayonetta. Yeah.
She's a fucking witch,
She's literally a witch, and she summons demons.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean...
So does that mean if a Christian's playing this game, she's like, burn her?
I mean, probably. And in fact, wasn't that the plot of the original one, that they wanted to burn her in that movie, in that game? So, yeah. I would say it would be conducive to religious people who haven't delved deeper into the sort of, world of Nintendo. I mean, theoretically, they could see all kinds of satanic things all over their games.
Yeah.
Well, and if this Microsoft deal goes through, and we'll see Call of Duties on Switches and stuff, and somebody's playing, like, what the hell are you doing? Shooting other people? What? I'm playing Call of Duty on my Switch.
It's family friendly. It's on Switch.
Family friendly. Exactly.
Family friendly. It's on Switch. Well, that's for parents who don't know any better. Like, But, man, I think about when we were young, man. We were playing some shit that
there was none of that.
Nobody cared.
We the Warrior.
We were also allowed to just go outside
Are you kidding?
And come back, when they went for dinner. That was it.
Rambo.
Yeah,
Nintendo
Rambo. Obviously the big one was Mortal Kombat, but there were so many more games that were
Russian Attack. You would just run and slice bitches in the throat. That was the goal. Just run and kill, slice them in the throat. If the dog came, same thing. He gets cut in the throat.
Or Bionic Commando, where the ultimate goal was to essentially kill a resurrected Hitler and blow his head up with a rocket.
You see
all the blood. Yeah, there you go.
Even Commando Why are we at war? Who am I? I could be a horrible person. It doesn't matter. I have a gun and grenades. I'm here to kill everyone, and that's it.
So yeah, there were those titles that sort of didn't make any sense. But again, it was almost the Wild West back then. I would say
it was like the same thing with movies. They didn't have ratings yet.
It was like it was
ratings later. It came
ratings.
Later.
No, ratings were like. They had a ratings board in the 70s and 80s. The thing about it is that the rating standards have changed. So like things that you could get away with a lot more in a PG movie. Like if you've seen the original E.T., that movie
with the guns. We were just watching.
Well, there was a lot of guns in that, but there was a lot
flashlights now.
The kids actually curse a lot in that original one. Like, so if you were to, like, under normal standards and practices, that would be considered a rated R movie because of how much they cursed. And also, Steven Spielberg wanted to keep the keep the PG or G rating, so that's why he swapped out all the guns with flashlights.
Yeah, you see them running. We were watching that version. You see them running around. It's like all these lights everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. So,
all right. Go ahead.
Hope that answers your question.
Yeah. All right. And the last question of the night, also from Mr. J. Shep. This one's kind of funny, just the way he asked it. Can the panel explain what Azure is to me like I'm a 5-year-old? Does it just impact cloud gaming for Xbox or the entire industry?
It was mainly made for enterprise. A lot of enterprise companies run. When you hear these applications that are web-based applications, when they're signing into a site and doing all their work from an application that's running on these servers, remote, that's what it was handling. And so it's distributing data at real-time speeds as if it was on your desktop. And these applications are running on their desktop. Well, what is a game? A game is an application. It has more graphics, so it's more intense and needs more bandwidth. And now they figured out, past decades, so they've been figuring out how to get that performance out of Azure to work for games. So that's why it's the backbone for a lot of these streaming services, even including PlayStation, because they're using Azure. So that's what it is. It's just running applications remote on servers and not on site. There you go.
That's it. Yeah, that was great, Adam. Thank you. Yeah. That's it, man. All right, we are done. What's up, Carlos? You got something to add?
Yeah, I'll just sum it up in
kid form?
In one phrase. It's the great big computer in the sky. It's pretty much what Azure is.
Like diamonds in the sky.
Does Microsoft own it?
Yes, they created
they do.
it. Yeah, that's theirs.
Yeah,
and there's competitors. There's AWS. There's Google services. Google Cloud or whatever they call
Amazon has one too, right? As I remember, right?
Yeah, that's AWS.
That's AWS. Okay.
Amazon Web Services. So there's I think those are the three biggest competitors. And Azure. Microsoft has a stranglehold on the enterprise, like Adam mentioned. So
he asked, so cloud gaming in general goes through Microsoft. Only if you're using Azure servers.
Only if you're using Azure. Yeah. They don't all do it. It's not like the gateway, like the way CMA is making it sound like this is it. They all have to pass a buck to Microsoft. No, everybody could have their own. Like Carlos mentioned, the other two.
CMA is really stupid if they said that.
They did.
Wow.
That report. It's what they were like, oh, you're gonna have a stranglehold. You already have the control of the cloud gaming.
No, they don't.
What the fuck
are they talking about?
Stadia doesn't go through that.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't.
That's stupid.
It's a lot of bullshit.
Sony's a lot more complicated because they got it off of Gaikai.
Yeah, they bought the Gaikai. But then that had limitations on it because it was good for older stuff, but it has trouble handling the newer stuff, which is why they had issues.
And they did a partnership with Microsoft and Azure, but I don't know if that's particularly for their streaming service. It could be for something else. It could be for the streaming service. I'm not too sure.
I think it's for the higher end because as soon as that happened, that's when we started seeing PS4 that was streaming. Because remember before you had to download the games? You couldn't stream them. You had to download it. There were some games, but then now I don't even know if it's fully streamable. Can you guys, anybody has that tier? I think it's a special tier that you can stream, like God of War 2016 and all the other ones. You don't.
I don't have that bullshit.
You don't have to download it to your drive. You can just stream it. Because remember, even the PS3 games that were streaming were pretty choppy, and people were bitching about it.
Yeah, because sure. Maybe somebody in the chat has that one.
But. Yeah, I think we asked that before, and like nobody has the upper tiers. You know,
epic fail.
Yeah, we don't need that shit.
Fucking guys have balls create freaking 3 pay tiers, and not a single one comes with day one releases. It's all like the same older shit for each one. Like, you got to make it special.
Yeah, well, that's always the hard lesson that Sony needs to do with their services. You know, same thing with PlayStation Plus. They put out the service and expect with marginal garbage on there, and just like, okay, you want to subscribe to get a demo? No, we don't.
No.
Yeah. Oh man, pay for a fucking demo.
Shit, you can go on YouTube and watch somebody play the fucking demo.
Yeah,
like,
okay, like for free.
Exactly. I'm like, all right, save me some money. That game looks like
exactly.
shit.
Yeah. All right, I think we're done here, man. Good episode. Do we have anything to plug? I'm just gonna go directly to Carlos.
Yeah, if anyone is interested in the Last of Us TV show for HBO, Adam, Rich, and myself host a show called Review. What is it called, Adam?
It's just we review The Last of Us. It's just on the Coalition game. We're just covering The Last of Us, the show, doing our comparisons with the game because all 3 of us have played and finished the game. So it's doing that comparison type of thing.
Pero.
Yeah, we we recently reviewed episode 5 that released early this week because of the Super Bowl for The Last of Us, which happens to be my favorite episode of the season. So, yeah, if you guys are interested in hearing our thoughts and reviews, check out the Coalition Gaming, Coalition with a K.
Yep, with a
K. You know, oh man! All right, guys, thank you for watching Throwdown. You can follow us on Twitch and Twitter. Join the Discord where the conversations and the rumors are always popping. You could also find us on any podcast app by searching for Throwdown Show. That's 2 words, Throwdown Show. You could also visit throwdownshow.com to listen to previous episodes. And if you've been watching us on YouTube and enjoyed the content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when our premieres go live. Links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco. And tonight, I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Adam Vale.
Have a good week, people.
Brett Murdoch. It's been real party, people. There he is. And Brian Manjoma.
Keep your eyes to the sky. It is invasion of the weather balloons out there.
Yeah, not even whatever was over. No. The best was for Alaska. That was not a weather balloon, and you hear these people freaked out. Even the governments we shot something out of the sky. Was it? No, it's not. Was it a drone? No, it had no propellers. We don't know what it is, but it fell on our land, and we're gonna go find it. That was crazy. Got aliens in Alaska. Aliens. We found aliens.
You know, some X-File shit. Yo, Dirty Death Feeler rolling up as we're ending the show. Oh man! Well, it's a good thing we record these motherfuckers. He literally says, "What's up?" I love it. All right, people.
Shout out to you, man.
Yeah, shout out to you. We will see you on Thursday. Throwdown during my birthday. That'll be interesting.
Birthdays! Yay!
All right, people. We will see you on Thursday. Later.
Later.
Peace.